Jesus fed 5,000 plus unexpected guests, and there was more than enough food left over. What is the lesson from this story? Trust in God's abundant goodness. Jesus gives us a model for service. He meets our basic needs first. Food is a human right. Jesus doesn't act alone. He encourages his apostles to feed the crowd. Jesus asks us to work in community to feed the hungry, to be his hands. How can we do that? Let's explore more in our story. Here are some lessons in trust. There's risk taking, there's expecting God to act, and there's being grateful. Is God expecting you to take a risk in your life? He asked the apostles to risk feeding the crowd. I volunteer with refugee families who take big risks to get here. When they arrive, they are given 3 months of allowance, or $1,100 per person, to pay their rent and meet their basic needs. They are also asked to pay back their transportation to get here. Who among us could find work and learn English in 3 months? I couldn't, and these refugee families can't either. They end up in poverty and on welfare. Food insecurity, the inability to find food for your family on a consistent basis, is a daily struggle. Their children take risk. They enroll in school, and some have missed years of schooling. They adapt to their peer group and learn English. Refugee families trust that life will get better, and their children are their hope. Are you expecting God to act in your life? Jesus tested his apostles. He says, "Where can we buy food for this crowd?" Philip offers a budget review, and Andrew finds a boy's lunch. Then Jesus says, "Have the crowd sit down." They were expecting Jesus to act. The crowd maybe thought, Jesus is going to tell us more stories. Can you hear that noise level rise in surprise as baskets of food were passed around? And there was more than enough to eat. Refugee teens have what fits in a suitcase. They learn to expect nothing, but they hope beyond this poverty. They are stretched and they rebound from many obstacles. They were excited as Catholic Charities prepared a holiday party with music and dancing, pizza, cake, a gift from a donor, and a selfie to remember the day. When they opened their gifts, they were excited and their expectations were more than met. As they went home, they filled bags with cookies and cake, pizza, fruit, and vegetables for their families. Do you have an attitude of gratitude? Those teens showed gratitude as they left the party. I heard thank you, and I saw smiles. Was Jesus' crowd grateful after they were fed? We know that Jesus was grateful to his Father. He thanked his Father and blessed that food, and there was more than enough. Was Jesus' crowd like our refugees? Were they trying to escape the Roman oppressive rule and the daily struggle to feed their families? Could they be our modern day refugees? After they were fed, the crowd wanted to make Jesus a king. Jesus, however, wanted them to trust in God's bounty in his coming kingdom. What are the lessons that we learn from this story? Big lessons in trust. Be willing to take a risk. Expect God to act, and then be grateful. We can be like that boy who brought the resource of his bag lunch. We can bring our resources to feed the hungry. We can multiply those resources tenfold as we pray and ask our elected officials to vote on legislation that make people food secure. Jesus says, you yourself give them something to eat. How do we do that? Like that boy who brought what little he had. We bring our resources, our work in community to feed the hungry. And then God multiplies that effort tenfold.